Welcome, everyone, to Season 12, Episode 9. Number 9. My internet, for some reason, is being super glitchy tonight, so hopefully StreamYard's not being, dumb about it. But, yeah. Just FYI. In case I start glitching out, just let me know.
We will. Why is it doing that?
Oh, my fan's moving. I guess I can't do that. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
I was doing good.
Good.
I realized my phone won't charge. Come on.
Okay. It's been forever since I've seen you guys.
It has been.
It does feel that way.
Yeah, it does feel that way. We miss a week, and this is what happens. Yeah.
Sorry.
I've been dodging you because you invited me to church, and now I'm like, it feels awkward.
That will happen. Let me see. Do we have any new patrons? I don't think we do, but I just want to look and see just to make sure. We gave a shot last time, right? Yep. I think we're good. Yeah. Cool. Yep. We're all cut up. Yeah. I guess we got a personal life. I got no new announcements at all. I got nothing.
Have they started working on your house yet?
No.
I can understand that there is circumstances, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't. Yeah, we'll leave it right there. Apparently, they're just the contractor's blaming the city. I don't know.
Oh, it's still a permitting thing?
Yeah, it's still a permitting thing. Apparently,
it's sitting on somebody's desk. Man,
Probably.
Ask your brother if he still knows somebody. And
I know I should.
I hate to do that, but I would if I was in your shoes at this point. It doesn't hurt to be like, "Hey, did you happen to look at blank?"
I mean, I had coffee with the vice mayor last Thursday. I just call him up and be like, "Dude."
Well, you don't want to use a vice mayor favor for something like this. You save those.
Save those.
Those when you're
if they deny the permit, that's when you make that call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Yeah, good. But greasing the skids, the brother connection is good.
Yeah. I'll just wait and see. I'm not really that much of a rush yet. If it starts if he starts dragging his feet once construction starts, then I'm like, wait, okay. Now we got issues.
Yeah.
Now we got issues. Yeah, but other than that, the pollinating happened in Virginia. So, and I heard down Charlotte was pretty bad too. So the South, the pollinating, we hit that season. So that was fun. Just in a yellow haze everywhere.
And if you thought the rain we just had washed it all away, it did, but then it immediately regurgitated more pollen. The sun came out this afternoon and it was like
pretty much.
So I feel bad for the allergy sufferers. My allergies aren't bad, but my eyes and throat just stay itchy because there's so much in the air.
So yeah. So the pollinating. That's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else really new and exciting. Besides the pollinating.
I feel like my life will probably be similar to. Let me talk about something other than the gym. I've just been doing the gym a lot to avoid spending money and whatnot, but that's probably boring to most people by now. I went on a hike this last weekend.
Accomplishments in the gym lately.
I have. It's all focused around legs more than anything. I will say this. So today I did a great leg workout because my back felt a little sore. I didn't want to risk putting any sort of pressure on that. But I'm realizing with the way I'm progressing on legs, I think if looking back to how I started weightlifting when I was younger, I did not do enough to strengthen my back before I started doing deadlifts and traditional squats. And I think that's why I kind of plateaued at a certain point with the legs because my legs are stupid strong. It's ridiculous. And I just keep, Anyway, so today was great on that, although I can barely walk now, but it feels good. So Saturday I went and hiked House Mountain out near Lexington, Virginia. It's a great hike. It's 2,000 feet of gain in just a couple of miles. So it's a lot of up, but the views up there are fantastic. So it's a good time.
Is it up Spy Rock up or more?
Yeah. It is that angle Spy Rock, when you're doing it from the fish hatchery, it's like that, but longer.
But longer. Oh wow.
Yeah. No, it's maybe like 25% more before it levels out at the first saddle there. And then you have two trails. One goes left to Big House, and then you come back down, and then you go to the right, and that's the Little House, which is lower, but I think has better views. So it's always worth doing both sides. Yeah. So did that. Met up with somebody. She did the hike with me. Somebody I've been talking to for a while. Yeah. I won't get into too many details there because y'all probably get bored with that too, but it was good. And we're still talking, so we don't. Yeah. It was good.
So that was for you.
I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
And then Alan invited me to church.
Yeah.
My thing of going to church is not that I'm not like I'm gonna walk in there and the place could catch on fire. I mean, me and JC, my personal relationship with God is still pretty good. I've yet to connect with like the community, the church, the people part, and it's been a while.
Neither have I.
What I worry about, so one of two things will happen. Like people like making conversation, and certain type of people at churches, they try to get too deep too soon. And then I always worry, depending on the question they ask, me, I answer honestly. And then if it's about personal stuff, then they're going to be like, oh, wow. Or if it's about faith-based stuff, they're going to be like, oh, well, I don't know if that really jives with what we teach here. So unless I can commit to going and, just enjoying it for what it is and giving fake answers like, oh, it's nice to see all of you people here. And I don't know. We'll see. But I do appreciate the invite.
It was maybe. Easter service. No one's going to do that to you on Easter.
Yeah. That's true. It'll be a little more happy-go-lucky and okay. Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. It was my wife's idea, so I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there.
I kind of assumed. Either like your pastor said, "Hey, invite a friend," and you were like, "Well, I would invite this one guy," but he's like, "No, that's the one you need to invite." It was either a pastor or your wife. The one you're afraid to invite is the one you need to invite. Oh, it's gonna be that kind of service. Shit, I don't know. I don't know if that's the sermon I need to be hearing.
Think of your one friend that needs Jesus, and give him a call.
Alan raises his hand like, "Are you sure? Because I don't know that you know what you're asking for." Anyways,
I'm already here.
Treatment.
If I invite him, does he have to sit with me? Like, can we sit on opposite sides?
Do you remember what movie was it when we did that in high school? It was so annoying. Like, I felt bad for people actually going to the movie. Like, we went to the movie and we all sat in different spots in the movie theater. And it was not a movie that, like, it was a movie that I think it was kind of serious, but like we weren't taking it seriously, and we would just talk to each other throughout the like.
Yeah, we were the annoying folks. I don't remember what it was.
I think they were teenagers, and we did it on purpose. It was to be obnoxious on purpose. Like, stupid kids. We were those stupid kids. That I don't like now that I'm older. Like, can someone kick these kids out? I'm trying to enjoy this movie.
Can I just say that when I look at the screen of all of us together, it says that my name is the most dangerous man, ... But on my little screen down below where I see just myself, it says the most D. And that's hilarious.
Nice.
You sure you want to go into your church? Let me stop.
Yeah, see, I could have a good relationship with God and make D jokes. And like, not everybody can handle that. So I don't know. I just got to commit to, I'll wear a nice little pastel Eastery shirt and keep quiet.
Cute. Yeah, you look cute.
Okay. What's going on with you, Chris?
Well, I appreciate everybody's patience and allowing us to take a week off since my appendix decided, hey, it was time to come
Chris
out.
is a few pounds lighter, not from weight loss, just from organ loss.
Yeah, they took stuff away.
Let me tell you, I've been complaining about stomach problems for almost a year. I feel like I may have had appendicitis for almost a year.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you the changes that have happened in my body over a week, like I'm under 420, like solidly under 420. Which y'all know I've been struggling to get under 425, and now I'm sitting at
Yeah.
like 416.
Nice.
I feel much happier, which sounds stupid, but I do. Like, that's not the drugs. I stopped using the drugs Saturday, and it is Tuesday.
Well, your body was slowly poisoning itself, so there's that.
And when I tell you, like, I think I had appendicitis for a year, and then finally decided, like, it got to that point where it was near rupturing. I was like, all right, let me go ahead and take care of this. And so,
well, there's acute and chronic appendicitis, so you may not be wrong. Like, things could agitate it, and it kind of seeps some, and then it kind of heal up, and then it get inflamed sometimes, and it go away. It could do that with some people for a while before it gets like bad.
And see, like, my bathroom situation has gotten so much better, and like,
that's awesome.
So another crazy thing. So I've been struggling to like walk for long distances, and since the surgery, like, my mile time is improving by minutes. And then, like, you know how your Apple Watch records your active minutes. Well, I can't lift right now. I have to be released by the doctor, and Chanel's keeping me to that. But normally when I go for a good walk, 30, 45 minutes, I end up like burning half my active calories, and it takes me like 30 minutes to get through a mile. I've been doing my miles in like 18 to 22 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good little clip.
No active calories. Like, if my heart rate goes over 100 in that 45 minutes, it's like, normally my heart rate's spiking when I'm going for a small walk, and now it's like, we're good. My active heart rate's dropped. Like, I've become a healthier person.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome. Yeah. It's amazing.
And I'm waking up at 4:45 again, no problem. Like, just naturally getting up in the morning after going to bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, getting up at 4:45 again.
Getting some real sleep.
You should have let me do it. I mean, it's the only surgery I've actually officially been trained on how to do is appendix removal.
Really?
Yeah,
that's one you want to read up on before you.
It was years ago when I got trained on how to do it, but I've never done one. But I was trained on how to do one.
I mean, the guy told me I'd have 2, maybe 3 incisions, and I got 4. So I mean, hey.
Yeah. When I did my sailing trip, when I did the whole sailing around the world thing, that's one thing that they did train us on, was because it's one of the few things that, like, you can. So, like, there's certain things that you just not, without an operating room,
you're gonna die.
You're gonna die. Like, you're just not gonna make it back. But that's one of the few things that, like, you can actually perform that surgery at sea and save someone's life. And it was funny when we were going through it with the surgeon, and he was like talking about like where to make the incision and like where to cut. And he's talking, it's like, and then you open up, and how do you know? And he's like, oh, you'll know. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, it looks wrong. Like, you'll look at it and be like, cut the thing that looks wrong out.
My doctor didn't want to do it at first because of my weight, and then he saw me. He's like, "Oh, you're just a huge guy. Like, your weight's not a factor. I'll cut you open."
You're just
That's good.
Super tall and built like a fridge.
All you gotta do is shake Chris's hand and realize, oh, it's a jolly deer. Like, hello, loyal.
But it was crazy because the voice message he left Chanel was, "Yeah, I'm definitely glad we went in and did it." So I'm like, how bad was it really?
Anyway. Amis misses my sailing videos.
That's true. I do.
Maybe I'll start posting more of them. I haven't been sailing yet this season yet. Of course, last week was the first day of sailing, but I didn't go.
Yeah,
because it was my birthday last week. I guess I had my birthday last week. There's something I did last week. Yeah.
Hello, old man.
Old man.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Yeah. So,
what club is that?
The meaning of life.
The meaning of life, the universe, and everything.
Wait, you guys 42?
Yeah.
God, how long have we been doing this podcast?
Too long.
I know. There's a huge difference between 38 and 42. Like, it's, and according to River, Alan, according to River, we are 8 years away from 50. Let that sink in.
Bro.
How ridiculous is that?
Bro, like, it's hard to think about.
Yeah.
Every time he says it, I cringe.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
"What? That's the same thing as 42." I'm like, "That is not the same thing. Stop
Mm-mm.
saying that."
I'm closer to 40 than I am 50. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blink though.
Yeah. 42. Yeah. No, it's I remember when I was in my 20s, like a 42-year-old is like a really old person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
42-year-old is still a really
Hey, it's just a number, right? Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Yep.
Of course, Ian sends me a
Anyway.
text. He goes, "How's your back this morning?" That's the first thing. I woke up my birthday. He's like, "How's your back?" I was like, "It's sore." It just gets worse from here.
You could also have women problems on top of that.
Yeah, I don't.
Much like Matt.
Yeah, much like Matt. Oh, good segue. Got 99 problems, and they are all women for Matt. So yeah, chapter 20. A broken road. On a
You
broken
start
road.
with your favorite person. Oh, he left.
Ian left. Ian told me beforehand he might not be here for the rest of this episode because if he shares his true feelings about this particular chapter, we might get canceled. No, he's back.
Poor Ian.
If I can add him in. Hold on. Won't you let me add him in? Maybe he's not back.
there
Maybe I
we go.
lied. Ian won't let me add you in. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there he is.
I'm in.
Kind of.
Hey, so
Maybe. Hey.
yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're
I
in.
can
Okay.
see him.
All right, so it was accidental. I was doing the thing where I went from chat back to this screen and I hit the wrong button. But I believe Alan was telling the story of once I finished his chapter, I was like, "We're in trouble." And he was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, because I think I agree with Matt on all of this."
I was listening to this as I was walking today, and I was like,
Fun times.
my blood pressure went up just a little bit. My heart rate went sped up just a slight bit. But because he was hanging out with Tom Mayonnaise, no other reason than that.
I will say, and obviously we're going to get into it, although in a way we could get through this chapter pretty quick. It's kind of neat that this chapter happened right when I started talking to this one girl I've been talking to the last couple of weeks. And not to like blow it out of proportion and be like, "Oh my gosh, she's amazing." But we're both at in our lives and the experiences we've had and everything like that. And there's no rush to get in anything. It's just really taking the time to appreciate one another. And it's allowed me to do this chapter without sounding like a total a-hole, because instead of truly agreeing with everything Matt says, I can relate to the experience and the feelings that he's having. But I also know that's not every relationship. That's not every woman. And there is some immaturity in there, and probably there's some fear that he has from previous relationships and all that jazz that's playing into it. And he's self-conscious about what other people might think, but clearly he hasn't spent time in community and mentorship and brotherhood with men who are in relationships like this to even recognize some of these things as normal and natural and even good. So anyways, that's my synopsis of everything. I'm in a better place to appreciate this chapter while also recognizing that's not the way it is. It's just the way it is sometimes when you're either a little immature or not ready, or yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yep.
The idea of reasoning with a woman being impossible is not true.
When you have no experience, it could be different. It could catch you off guard. Right.
Like, I agree with that. It's just, I think it depends on the person. So, I mean, when we look at Tuon, she wasn't trying to be somebody that wanted to be reasoned with. She was testing Matt at every point in every situation to determine whether or not he was worthy of her. And she's also a woman that's like used to being in control. And she is used to having her own way, even though she doesn't have her own way and she's not in control. So with all of these factors, it, kind of just played out that way for him. And his last relationship, he, didn't have a say in anything whatsoever at all. He was a toy. like, though we may not want to view that as a relationship.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you call that a relationship?
Because it was so toxic, but I mean, it was a part of his development.
Some of us have intentionally and knowingly been in a relationship like that, like volunteered for it.
Yeah.
Some people are into that. Hey, we don't kink. Dude, kink, ask why.
Yeah. It also made me think, though, like to the extreme. I can remember at least, I won't say which one, but I can remember at least one high school relationship that I had with a girl that was short-lived because I let what I thought was peer pressure from like my guy friends and everything like that affect how I approached the relationship. And I won't say I regret it, but I do look back at it and I was like, you know, if I hadn't have like tried to still be the Ian that like all my guy friends knew before I started dating this girl, and like, you know, still be, oh, it's not going to change me, it's not going to affect me, da da da, she can't tell me what to do, like some of that mindset. If I didn't do that and like I was a little more mature in approaching that relationship, we might have had something pretty good. Because she's still like, we stay in touch, she's like super cool person, but it was a very short-lived like 2-week relationship that just flamed out. And it was, you know, I chose the boys over pursuing that, really, you know, whatever. And I learned from it, but stupid me. Hopefully Matt,
if it's who I think it is, she's crazy. So you dodged a bullet there, dude.
No. Well, I'd say like, no, but maybe it is.
Yeah.
But anyways.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Am I not though? Like,
no.
Who am I to judge? Maybe our crazies would have canceled each other out.
Maybe.
Hey. And 2 tornadoes collide, don't they?
Yeah.
Cause massive destruction. Yeah, I've seen that movie. Require intervention from FEMA all the time.
But they don't kill each other.
Oh well, actually, technically, one ends up killing the other. Yeah.
So maybe,
but for that moment while they're dancing around, and yeah, it's pretty daggone cool. Yeah, something to be said for that.
Yeah. Anyway, my boy Tom Honest is listening, just kind of like I am right now, like kind of just like, really,
passively,
really.
Go
ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
You've only said that 4 times.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue on. So what's this about dice? What's this about the dice game? Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I think Tom Honest is going sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hit him with the sure a lot.
Sure.
I think my favorite part was what was it? He was talking to him about all of his relationships or whatever, and Tall Mayonnaise, like, what was his response? I forget the exact question, but his response was like, "Nah, I never considered marrying him," or something like that. Nah, I'd never do that. Why the heck would I do that?
He said, "Oops."
And then he backtracks. He's like, "Oh, but I'm sure it's gonna work out just fine for you, Matt." Yeah, there's plenty of dudes that seem to be enjoying it. You know?
Yeah, it was like, haven't you ever considered marriage? And he was like, no. I mean,
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
He shot it down hard before he backtracked. Yeah. So oh hell no! I mean, not that it's a bad thing, Matt. Yeah, good for you.
He even tries to like switch the conversation up, and he like, it's like, oh, you know, we got to think about our battles, and you know, we did really well. You only lost 1,000 people, and of course, Matt's not happy about losing anybody. He's like, man,
no,
you're for the streets, Matt. Like, you love war, you love fighting, but you're a married man now. But you know, we have plenty of battles to participate in. And Matt's like, I don't actively search out any of these battles. He's like, well, are you sure? Are you sure you don't? Because you always end up in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Matt's like, yeah, whatever. No, not trying to get into battles, but
yeah.
Do you think Matt lets his ego with all of this, like egg him into a fight that he shouldn't pick? It's like maybe this is a little foreshadowing of him trying to prove himself to the boys, like I was just talking about. Like, I still got it in me. woman can't make me change. Go
I
fight
mean,
me a battle.
he is straight up being like, I don't want the title, I don't want the this, I don't want the that, I don't want to be the Prince of Ravens. I just want to be good old Matt, you know. And the whole time, Tall Mayonnaise is like, man, you're sounding real husbandly right now. You're worried about your woman, like,
Yeah,
she's away, like she's got other men to protect her.
He says,
And
"Don't
you're
be
fierce
fooled by the
concerned.
rocks that I got, because I'm still Matt from the block." And that's really what he's saying here.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can take the boy out the two rivers. You can't take the two rivers out the
He's
boy.
like,
You
I
know what
ain't
I'm
soft
saying?
and I'll never be soft. And Tall Mayonnaise is like, nah, you won't go soft, but you'll probably end up boring.
Yeah.
No, you'll just end up boring.
My boy,
Yes,
Tall
I'm still
Mayonnaise.
gonna drink. I'm still gonna gamble. I'm still gonna. Well, I'm not
Sure
gonna
you
mess with
are.
the hose, but I'm gonna do all the fun things. And Tom Mayonnaise is like,
Yeah, okay.
he
Sure.
has the laugh in his eyes the whole time, just like dying at the conversation. And Matt's like, wait till we go to the next town. When do we get to the next town anyway?
Oh, the next town. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Vannon rides up with a map. What's this? A map. Matt asks if Vannon has figured out, where, I guess they're pursuing, or they were being pursued by Sean Chan, right? They thought they were.
They're going on the road less traveled to avoid Sean Chan and others.
Right.
So,
yeah. And he's trying to figure out where they are. And Matt's like, I think I know where that mountain is. I think I know where I am. Of course, Matt has all his memories and stuff like that. Matt tells Vannon to go scout ahead. Yeah.
Well, and Vannon's like, I'm pretty sure it's this mountain range, but it could be that mountain range. And Matt's like, well, why don't you go ask the map maker?
Yeah.
And Vannon's like, nope, not going to do that.
I love how he describes Vannon too, like a plump guy that like bouncing on top of his horse coming in. Like,
I see Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty. But apparently he can ride horses really, really well, though, despite his physique. Yeah.
And he can sneak into places and not be noticed. He's a master of deception.
Yeah. I've known people that like aren't visually, like you watch them and they're not very graceful, and yet they're very proficient and good at what they do. Yeah. We had in my reserve unit out in Little Rock, we had this dude named Ko that I'm not gonna lie, he just didn't look like a soldier. Not really. Yeah. I mean, he was a shape, but not good shape. I don't know that he ever passed a PT test or height weight when I was there. Really nice guy, but like he didn't move with any sort of like purpose. Just not what you think about, the opposite of a high-speed soldier, right? But then there were certain things that he was fantastic at. And when it came time to range days, especially when we were doing crew serve weapons and the big guns, essentially, I'd always pull him in to teach the classes and teach everybody else what to do, like not just the new people, but he's showing the LTs, he's showing the senior NCOs, because he's been around that stuff his whole life. And you put a firearm like that in his hands and he's working magic and everything is smooth and everything is perfectly done. And you're like, man, if you could apply that type of like practice makes perfect and, invest in yourself in all these other areas, you'd be a fantastic soldier. But he just didn't have that motivation. So you look at him and you're like, but if you needed somebody in a firefight to man the 50 or the Mark 19 or something like that, that's the dude you want. Because
he's like, I just want to play with big toys and go home.
Yeah. And I don't know how to describe it other than to say he's smooth with it. Those of y'all that have ever fired the Mark 19 know that those things jam like crazy. That dude would fix them on the fly and just keep doom, 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 doom. That's the automatic grenade launcher, by the way. Hilarious firing that thing. Like, so much fun. Anyways. Yeah. So I got a little mental picture of that when he was describing him.
Yeah. So he sends Vannon off to go do some scouting. Let's see.
Did he send the map maker with him?
No.
There was some comment, I mean, kind of irrelevant, but like there was a comment about like map makers are not trailblazers, like huge difference. Just because they could draw the map and they know where stuff is doesn't mean that's the person you want to send
Yeah.
To go
Especially
check
this
things
map
out.
maker. He didn't want to do that job. He just wanted to make his maps.
I mean, the way they described Vannon being sneaky was good too. Like he could get close enough to count the whiskers on the camp guards' beers and make off with their stew without being seen at all.
Mhm.
And make off with their stew. That's a
Yeah.
fat joke right there. That's messed up.
It's the most obvious people that are overlooked all the time. That's really what it
Yeah.
comes down to.
Yeah.
I can sneak
Sometimes.
up on people. I sneak above people all the time.
I mean, I'm not going to name names because I'm pretty sure we'll be shut down if we do. But we had a friend from college that went CIA, and you would look at her and you would never suspect her ever to be a clandestine agent. Like,
Right.
one of those people that just, I mean, plain Jane. Like, I mean, not like wasn't an ugly person, wasn't like a super overweight, just as plain as you could
Easily
possibly ever
blended
be
into any crowd.
to any crowd, and just
Now
would
this
think it's just a
person,
normal person. Like,
yeah, also had the ability to just have kind of surface level casual conversation about anything with anyone. So never stood out even while engaging in the group. But if you actually got to know them, this person was wicked smart.
yeah, could speak like I don't know how many languages, like fluently, a ton of
Right.
languages fluently, and just
Yeah,
yeah.
good point.
yeah. But like,
Yeah.
if she's walking through a crowd, it'd just be like, wouldn't think ever that that's a spy. Like,
Yeah, it would never stand out
like,
to you.
ever. Does not look like anything in movies or anything you'd ever think of. But anyway, I guess that's why I picked her. Crazy smart, and yeah, they recruited her. That was kind of crazy. Yeah, Vannon leaves. Matt hurries up to catch up with Tom Mendes. Because he's also commenting on how ridiculous Kyrian men, wear their clothes and everything like that. Thinks about that. And this is where they get into the whole talk about the Banton's victories, trying to avoid conversation. So we go through all that already.
And then Bannon returns.
Yeah.
He's like, I knew where we were. There's the town right over the hill there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just around the river bend.
Yeah. The name of this town is Hinderstaff.
Hinderstaff.
What do you guys think about that? Does that seem ominous to you, or does it just sound like just a regular town? Like,
sounds like a regular town to me.
It's a bunch of good old boys.
Cool. Bunch of good old
Nothing's
boys.
going to happen there.
Well, they don't want to march the whole army into this town because obviously that would freak everybody out. So they come with a plan to just send a few people in.
Well, because they still want to try and trade and get a hand of whatever grain or food they can. Because again, they talk about the logistics problem of moving this many people and the scarcity of food and supplies and everything in the world right now. So they touch on that.
And that definitely comes up since we have our Aes Sedai that are thinking about leaving and heading their own way too. Jolene and her crew roll up. They're like, hey, we'll take 20 horses and we'll get out your hair. Matt's like, I thought you could do math. Like, just outright rude.
Yeah.
And she breaks down to him what her plan is, and he's like, how are you going to feed all of those people and horses? Like, they make it make sense.
Right.
Yeah, instead of trying to be kind in the conversation, even I think it's Tom Mayonnaise points out afterwards, Matt is just an a-hole with every point that he makes.
Well,
very antagonistic.
Yeah, he's like, you must really miss Toulon. You must really be worried about her because you're just being mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But like on the one hand, the way they treat Matt, I'm kind of like, yeah. But then like, if you want the relationship to get better, both sides can't fight fire with fire. Somebody's got to be the bigger person. But like, I get, besides the missing his woman thing, I get Matt's frustration with these particular Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Very ungrateful. They're kind of jerks to him, but.
In especially in this book, not so much in the next two, but in this book, Brandon Sanderson even admits, like, when he was trying to write Matt, he had a hard time trying to find Matt's voice because he's such a hard character to write.
Yeah,
because Matt is a very tough character to write because he's a very much a person that you would know, but he's also at the same time has this really interesting personality where like he's kind of like a jester, but he's not, and kind of like the class clown, but he's not because he is serious. But he's, it's this really dualistic or multiple,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say multiple personalities, but like a really complex character.
Well,
it's
and
really
so
hard to
many
find.
people that he interacts with that they don't take him seriously. And like he feels it, notices it, gets upset about it, reacts to it. But whenever push comes to shove, I would want him more than just about anybody in this book coming to save the day, because the dude's heart, where it's rooted, is all about taking care of the people around him. And he's very capable of it. It's just he doesn't really express it very well. What comes out is a lot of the frustration and, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's complicated. He's like an onion. It's got layers.
He's got layers.
Agreed.
Yeah. Some of the Aes Sedai then talked to Matt about bonding him, and he's like, I got a medallion. You don't have to worry about that.
You can bond these. What do you mean these?
But yeah, also during this whole supply chain, obviously they stop at towns to get supplies, but they're also marching towards Camelin because they want to really provision up and resupply before and get some more information before continuing on, at least Matt, to the Tower of Genji.
And link up with the rest of the band, because aren't they there?
Yeah. Yep.
Or somewhere near there? Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere near there. Yeah. Yep. So.
And then they decide, Matt's like, hey, bring me 3 coins. And with these 3 coins, I'm going to win all the money and feed all the people for free.
Yep. I could solve our grain problem. Let's go throw dice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's always Matt's solution. Always. Just gamble.
And Tall Mayonnaise just being that good friend that you want nearby. Like, he kind of gives him the shrug, hits him with the sure, but also at the same time is encouraging him. Maybe not in a healthy way, but it's like Tall Mayonnaise is just like, all right, bet. Let's see how this goes.
We have a friend, Ian and I do, that is similar to Matt in a lot of ways because of his luck. He is the luckiest person I've ever met in my entire life. Yet he still finds ways to have misfortune. He's a lot like Matt. I mean, misfortune just follows him around like a cloud. But he's also the luckiest person I've ever seen. I don't know how many things like lotteries, scratchers, random like door prize type things that you put like your name in a box, and he's won just tons of stuff in his life. And it's like, but then he'll end up gambling it away the next week.
Right.
Or something unfortunate happens because he's like, I guess his luck runs both ways. He's like the unluckiest and luckiest person at the same time.
So he is just like Matt.
Yeah.
His life is full of fantastic stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the time he got lost in DC, ended up in Miami, and then in his ditch in front of his mom's house.
Right. Then they dropped him off in the ditch. And then I got blamed for it. I'm like, I didn't even go with him. But the phone call went straight to me.
But weren't you there? Weren't you his ride?
Initially,
yeah.
When he left
DC.
No, I didn't leave him in DC. We were in a party in Yorktown.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
And then he ended up leaving with somebody else and went to DC. And then he partied with them for a couple days and then ended up in Miami.
And then he had to hitchhike the entire way back home from Miami.
I never even got the full story, honestly.
Yeah,
we were just kind of glad he was alive.
He hitchhiked it all the way from Miami back to Virginia and was drinking and partying the entire way back and ended up just being blackout drunk and dropped off in the ditch in front of his mom's house. And his mom came out in the morning and found her son passed out in the ditch in front of their house. And he'd been gone and missing for like a week. And
it was over a week.
It was over a week. She was like calling all of us, like, "Where's my son?" I'm like, well, I don't know. He disappeared. Like, I'm sure he'll show back up.
The funniest part of the story when we retell it, so it was either a prom party or something like that, but we were at that sketchy hotel in Yorktown.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called, but it's like in the card.
The Duke of something.
Yeah.
The Duke of York.
Right
Duke of York. Now look, the people we knew had all of the rooms on one floor. And so all the doors were open. And so it's like in the cartoons, I'm standing in the hallway talking to people, and I'd see Dave and a group of people go, "Ooh," out of one room and then in the other. And then they'd come out a different door and go, "Ah," and run out a different one and go another. This happens all night. And then eventually I noticed the group that's going back and forth. Dave's not in it anymore. So I started checking all the rooms to see if he's like, I don't know, just passed out or stuck somewhere. Never saw him again.
Yeah.
Found out a week and a half later, like the whole saga of where he went and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, just like Matt, I never made that connection, but that is spot on, Alan.
It
But
is
also a really good dude. Like you
really good
wouldn't
guy.
when you talk to him and like see him interact, and sometimes his goofiness or whatever, you're like, oh, I don't know if this is somebody I trust for anything. But if you get to know him even the least bit, you know,
but push comes to shove, he's gonna be right there for you. Like, I mean, push comes to shove, he'll show up and be there
best
for you.
dude. Yeah,
But only if push comes to shove. If it's kind of like a casual favor, he'll say yes and not show up. But if it's like
correct.
you need him, he's there.
Absolutely. And he's the kind of guy you want there in those moments. That's too funny.
He's a lot like Matt.
I wonder if he read these books when he was young and was like, I'm gonna be like that dude. Because it's spot on.
Yeah. He actually texted me yesterday. He wanted to go get a drink. I was like,
yeah.
Couldn't.
Gramps asked if he's Semirhage. I think he is Semirhage. If it exists in this world,
he might.
This guy definitely is.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's Semirhage. Sounds about right. And he's like built like a really, really good career off of nothing, off of lying on resumes. And I didn't think it actually worked. Like literally, that's what he did to start his career. Was he just lied? But he's really smart. So he never went to college.
Not full on lie, because even though technically maybe he didn't have those degrees and certifications, he read the books and he knew it better than anybody that took the classes.
Right.
Or had the certifications.
So he lied about his experience and his certifications, so he could get these jobs.
Yeah.
And then worked up, and now he's like middle level management of like a pretty big thing. But
outperformed everybody like right off the bat, so nobody questioned it.
No one questioned it. Yeah. Yeah.
Semirhage, absolutely.
Semirhage.
That's hilarious.
He totally is. Like, what? Anyways, so where are we? I guess we're right around the time
we're on Ember and Ash.
Yeah, we're done with this chapter, aren't we? Yeah, they go to Hitter Stab.
Yeah,
and
we jumped around it. We covered it all.
Okay, cool. All right, Ember and Ash, chapter 21.
Perrin is hanging upside down from his ankles.
Perrin's in the wolf dream, hanging out with Hopper.
Good boy. Literally, he's in the air. He's in the air and he can't get on the ground.
Did you hear they made direwolves? Did you hear the news?
Yeah, that's freaking crazy. So it's somebody even made the comment. So we get direwolves before we get the next book.
Yeah,
which is absolutely freaking ridiculous
for Game of Thrones. Yeah,
literally.
They brought back in a species that was extinct for 10,000 years before you got the next Game of Thrones book.
They de-extinct the direwolf before we got the next book.
They're able to get enough DNA to actually recreate the direwolf.
Which is that in and of itself is crazy. The fact that we're able to do that.
Little puppies.
We have so many movies based upon that being a horrible idea.
I know.
I know.
So I have a friend chat.
But the kid in me is super excited.
And they're like, Jurassic
so cute,
Park is on the way. And they're so excited about Jurassic Park. I'm like,
well, they're doing woolly mammoths too. I think it's like the same company. They're doing woolly mammoths as well. They've already
Like, did y'all not see the same movie I saw?
Yeah.
And then what viruses and things are we gonna allow to come back to life? Like we bring
Terminator, dude. Have you seen that movie? I mean, because that's on its way too. Let's be honest. Our robot overlords.
Yeah, everything's just gonna happen all at one time. We're gonna have Jurassic Nader.
Yeah,
yeah, it's just gonna be crazy. And then hurricanes are getting worse, so like probably end up with Sharknado and everything.
There you go, all of it.
Why not?
Yeah, we need to just learn as human beings to live and let live. When we try to create too much and when we try to destroy on a grand scale, like we just really fuck things up. I think attempting to play God and force outcomes is something the human race needs to just not do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's risky business.
Ancient bacteria anyway, the more we
That's what I'm saying. The glaciers are going to melt just enough that like a 1,000,000-year-old bacteria is going to fling into the air and be like, "I'm alive again." Ooh, look at all this food everywhere.
Anyway, what is that show I've been watching? It won't come to my mind now. They lock themselves up in a mountain. It's good too. I can't think of it. When it comes
my dream retirement.
But look how cute they are. Look at the puppies. Look at the puppies.
I'll take.
Oh, they're kissing each other.
Oh.
Or it's whispering,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna eat you, motherfucker."
But they're so cute. They're good boys.
I'll take one.
They're good boys.
Imagine how large they're gonna be.
I know they're gonna be.
Well, next to you, they would look like a normal dog.
Next year.
So that's the kind of puppers you need, Chris.
Exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Instead, I got that.
You'd actually be able to pick one up. The rest of us would just get mauled by them.
But yeah. Speaking of getting mauled.
Yep.
The next transition. Here we go.
Next transition.
Chris, you're 2 for 2, buddy.
Yeah, I know. He's on it. Yeah, Hopper arrives, says, that it's safe here, but they're trying to go through and Perrin's asking too many questions. And Hopper's like,
Perrin wants to be in control. He's trying to control this.
Hopper's like, let's run, young bull, and they start running. He's like, 2 legs? Why are we on 2 legs? Be on 4 legs.
Slow.
You're slow. And he's like, no, Hopper, I can't do it. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the wolf inside. He's like, you're afraid of the wolf? I am a wolf. Like, it's okay. Embrace.
Also, what are you doing here if you're afraid of the wolf? Like, you're coming here on purpose to what?
You're supposed to let loose, hunt with me. You're supposed to like help me kill the shadow. Like, and he's like, no. He's like, look, there's a gathering storm over there. Like, it's a big storm that's not going away.
The last hunt is about to go down, bro.
It's about to go down. So I need you to become a wolf. And he's like, no, I need you to teach me how to run this world. And Hopper's like, no. That's not what we do here.
Well, if you're not going to teach me, I'll find some other wolf that will teach me.
He starts jumping around, and Hopper's like, gotcha, bitch. I'm faster than you.
Also, careful. What you're doing is extremely dangerous. You get yourself killed in here, and that's no joke.
Yeah.
He's like, but I have to control it, Hopper. And Hopper's like, pink.
Yeah, you said the magic word for me to kick you out. Like, this ain't about control. Obviously, you're supposed to, I think, but I got very frustrated with Perrin here. But his character is kind of torn even before going in here, and he's struggling with still how's he supposed to lead? Okay, he picked the hammer over the axe, but like blah blah blah, and worried about decisions he made. So he's very indecisive right now, trying to figure out that next move. And we talked about early on how Perrin's this overthinker and wants to make sure he's doing the right thing and helping people and blah blah blah. But he gets in here very clearly like searching for answers in this realm, this space that he knows nothing about. And he has the perfect teacher there, and he knows it's somebody he can trust. And still the dummy's like, I want you to teach me the way I want to be taught. But he doesn't even know enough to, I don't know. It was just very frustrating. And
you're so I would thought process. So he doesn't know enough to know what he needs to be taught and how he needs to be taught, but then he wants to be taught his way.
Yeah. And so I totally feel Hopper. Hopper just sighs and goes, "You're not ready for this, you stupid," bink, and kicks him out. Like, that's, yeah. Hopper might get favorite. Hopper's probably gonna get favorite character this go round.
Yeah.
I have a 7-year-old son that's very inquisitive, and it's a lot like that. 'Cause he'll ask the questions and I'll answer the question, and then he'll ask it again because he doesn't understand my answer. And I'm like, I don't know. You're not ready for it, dude. Like, I hate to say it this way, but like, you're getting, and I appreciate that he's getting to those abstract thought process at a young age, but at the same time, like, I don't know how else to explain it in a way.
Right. There's no way to water it down without taking away the true meaning.
Yeah. And it gets really tough. Like, and I think I relate to Hopper here, where it's like, you're not ready for this. Like, this is not, you're going about the wrong way. Like,
yeah. Slash, there's aspects of this that for now, you're just going to have to trust that I know and follow my lead on it.
100%.
Yeah, and I think
But
Hopper's
why?
definitely trying to get this across to Perrin. Like, okay, just if you would just trust me and follow the process a little bit, we'll get you there. It's
Yeah.
just not the way you think it's going to happen because you don't know.
Like, Ian, you have kids. Have you ever gotten to like a point where you start getting philosophical with your kids? And like, so my son's really into Star Wars right now, super into Star Wars, which makes me super happy because I'm a geek and I love Star Wars. And we're going to soccer practice today, and he's asking about like why did Anakin turn to the dark side, and so I start trying to explain it to like kids terms, whatever, and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, he has a lot of hate and anger. He's like, yeah, anger leads to suffering, and I was like, yes, yeah, exactly, it's line for the movie, perfect. And he's like, what's suffering, Dad? I was like, like you're in constant pain all the time. Where does it hurt? I was like, well, there's like physical suffering, physical pain, there's emotional pain, there's mental pain, there's spiritual pain, there's you know what? We could talk about this for a long time and get really deep with this question. So,
yeah.
Trouble
is, you don't really want him to find out, but he's going to find out.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things are things you got to find out on your own.
Yeah, you gotta find out. If it's like
or through experience, at least. You don't need to be on your own.
He latched on to mental pain, on mental like health, like emotional pain. He's like, is that like a headache? And I was like, no, that's physical still. Like, I was like, like when you're sad all the time, like you don't want to be like that. That's pain too, but it's not like hurting pain. It's just your brain pain. You want to find happiness, but you also don't want to lean to happiness too much because you need pain to grow. And I was like, and now I'm getting really philosophical with a 7-year-old. This is really tough. We'll
and the only guaranteed way of not finding happiness is to chase it. Right. It's like trying to look at that speck in the corner of your eye. Every time you try to look at it, it moves.
You don't want to teach a 7-year-old just do what makes you happy, because that's not the right life lesson either. So like I'm like, right. No, but we need to suffer and have pain sometimes, and that's important too. But do you know what a pendulum is, son? How it swings from the light to the dark?
Well, so the right answer is, so this was a biblical illusion where it's fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. And in the New Testament of the Christian Bible, it talks about how suffering builds character, character builds hope. Or no, suffering builds patience, patience builds character, character brings about hope and salvation. So the line keeps going. You just have to know what they were alluding to.
Yeah. It's It's one of those tough things as a parent too, because you do want to help your kids out, but you also realize as a parent you have to make life tough for them, but like not evil towards them. But you also can't give them a cakewalk either. They won't learn enough. You gotta grow,
right?
But you don't want to purposely put stumbling blocks in the way either. It's that fine line of like tough love kind of thing. Anyway,
my stepdad, I remember the moment where my brother realized what suffering was. We were driving over the bridge over the Coleman. And my brother kept bringing these toys out in the car when he wasn't supposed to. What did my stepdad do? Gave them to the James.
The window, second story window with a hoop and a hoe and a mighty throw. We threw it out the window.
My brother knew suffering. He knew pain. He knew heartache. He learned a lesson.
He knew heartache. He knew loss. All the things.
All the things. All at one time. And we all learned a lesson. It's like that's what suffering looks like, and that's what not obeying looks like. Okay, bet, got you. Won't do that.
And we also learned what a litter bug looks like. Don't be a litter bug and throw things in the water. All right.
that too.
See, if my children hit me with that after that moment, that's a big risk, because I'd be tempted to be like, "You're absolutely right. Go get it." Shoink. Good thing I taught you to swim. You missed one. Little to the right. Okay. Watch out for the eel traps. They're nasty.
Fun times.
Anyway.
Yep. Anyway. So he gets kicked out, and then we switch to Fayo's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Fayo waking up, or Perrin waking up and Fayo being annoyed.
Yeah, like, go back to sleep. She's like, the one night I need to go out, you decide you want to be restless.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She's like, didn't I put you to sleep enough earlier? I think that was a direct quote.
Yep. And the conversation goes to about Berlane and Fail's jealousy as well. So,
I mean, that was literally the only part of the conversation that was like worth hearing. Is like them both essentially coming to terms that the one another did not cheat on each other.
Yeah.
In the physical sense and the emotional and psychological sense. They
both kind of leaned on people they needed to in desperate moments, but I don't think either of them crossed the line.
No, they forgave each other for it. So
sure,
anything that you may have done, this is a little bit more direct. Like, hey, if you had to do something with him, it's okay. You were his captive. She's like, you think I can't take care of myself? I was like, Lord, please don't let them start arguing right now. Literally, he just got you back. The last thing I want to hear is you two bickering.
Yeah, he might not have said it right, but I think he had the right notion of, I don't want you, like, if there's anything at all that you had to do, and not even if it was sexual favor or anything like that, but whatever happened for you to survive was necessary for you to survive, and there's nothing you should feel shame for, and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's still an important message to convey to somebody like that, especially because and truthfully, let me back up even. I've referenced before, like, training for seer, and whenever we have somebody that's been in captivity or prisoner of war, or lost in the battle space for a while, and when they're recovered, we have a very specific process that they go through. It's not like immediately the authorities get their hands on them and ask a million questions. Like, there's a process of reintegration, and part of that is that initial reassurance and continued reassurance that no matter what you did in order to survive, it is okay, and you don't feel shame for it, and whatever. Despite what you might see in the news and people dogging people left and right, like, that's kind of the first step of it. Right. Because it's true. I mean, when you get put in a situation of do or die, and if there's torture, if there's coercion, like horrible conditions, I mean, I've said it before, everybody's got a breaking point, and you got to keep it in your mind to survive no matter what. So yeah.
We're not quite done with this chapter, but speaking of breaking points, next chapter. No.
Oh, 3 for 3.
Let's go ahead and just finish the fact that Fail finally gets to do what she wants to do after Perrin falls asleep. Right. She goes out and meets Bane and Shiad, and she gets a couple items, and then she goes and meets Lady Alejandra and the rest of the crew, the Chafail, and they burn a pyre for their homies, for the brotherless.
Yep.
And Lucille says there's another one in the camp that she's already jumping the bones of, but
This is why I think Perrin's notion, again, he focused on the sexual part of it, but if he'd have kept it kind of broadly, like, it's still appropriate, because Fail recognizes that these people that helped her, and she even says, I think he even loved me, and clearly they sacrificed themselves for her, even though it was to Perrin. Like, there was enough guilt and there was enough weighing on her that a little ceremony like this was absolutely necessary to be able to move on. So anyways, I don't know exactly where I'm going with that, but
no, but you're right.
It's a big deal.
She outright admits that this is how it had to end, because there was not any amount of screaming and yelling that would have stopped the two groups from fighting.
Right.
And though she didn't do anything physical, she also didn't need Perrin with doubt in his mind. So and then she recognized that he may have loved her, and she had deep feelings for him, even though she was using him. So this kind of literally buries this for her, allows her to move on, her and the others. So
yeah. And hopefully it truly closes the door on it. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, this is part of the grieving process, and depending on like the relationship or whatever, we all know that grief comes and goes. There's no particular order or whatever, but I will say
it's not a linear process from point A to point B.
Right. So. Right. But it can be very helpful to have something kind of ceremonial like this to kind of recognize and mark that transition, you know. And when you have what we call the SUGs, the sudden upsurge of grief, if something happens and you have a memory of it and those feelings rush back, it's kind of reassurance to be able to also think about, the actual closure process you went through and whatnot. So anyways.
Yeah.
Feelings are funny.
Feelings are funny.
They are funny, because feelings will even make you lose control. Like the feelings of inadequacy and being less than drove Semirhage to dark thoughts.
It did. Before that,
Set her
Perrin
up
does
for
wake
failure.
up. Yeah. So Perrin does wake up at the end of this chapter and is determined then to take control of the Wolf Dream, no matter what Hopper says. And I guess he decides the last thing in this chapter is just him deciding that he'll allow Fael to accompany him, to ride with him to the last.
Because a man must do hard
And he's going to
things.
risk her. Is the bigger picture. He recognizes he has to risk her life.
Right. Yep.
That was But also, I'm going to say least favorite character in these chapters is going to be Perrin, and I'm sorry, Chris, because what a dummy. All I can think about now is like, what a dummy. Like after every opportunity you've had to learn from everybody around you, and you're going to be like, screw you, Hopper, I'm going to figure this out on my own.
Yeah, Hopper's literally saved your life and died for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ready for the last that could be done, chapter 22.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Semirhage sits in her cell. She's broken at this point. But after a few minutes,
they left her in the darkness. She lost all control. She's been spanked. I'm sorry. The spanking's important. She's having to eat off the ground. She's like,
I must tie her down on a bed and spank her.
Yeah,
exactly. Like she's like, I have tortured people, and I know what torture looks like. This is not torture. This is worse. I am being made to feel less than.
Yeah,
sounds like a Karen.
Yeah, but a familiar voice shows up. Appears.
A whisper.
Shadar Haran.
Samara.
New phone. Who dis?
She's like, it can't be. Not here. I don't believe it.
Yeah. And he's like talking inside her head.
Yeah. He's like, hey, listen up. We're not happy with what you did. You're not supposed to harm him. You're supposed to capture him. Big difference.
Yeah, and now the Aes Sedai got you broken. He called her out for it.
Yeah.
You are busted and broken.
Yeah, these so-called Aes Sedai.
And he's like, and she goes, oh my God, I feel released. I can breathe. I can draw in the source. He's like, I gave you a gift.
Gonna get one shot, one opportunity.
Do not miss
spaghetti. Yep. So my internet's being really funky right now. Am I freezing?
Yeah, y'all are taking. Both of y'all are kind of taking turns looking glitchy and freezing on mine, but just briefly.
Yeah. It might just be StreamYard then. StreamYard might be just because if it's all of us experiencing it, it might just be StreamYard's being dumb. We had an app that worked for such a long time. It's about time that that we start having glitches again. It's been too long.
We're due. We're due.
It hasn't felt like the Wheel of Reeds in a while. So having glitches again is just right on par.
Exactly
for us. So
gives Alan something to do when he goes to edit. No,
I ain't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't even put intros that often anymore. Like when I do the editing, I just go and like literally do some brief editing and put it out because I'm trying to catch up because I'm so far behind on putting. Anyway, that's
just giving it to him raw, huh?
Yeah, it's been bad, but it's just what it is. Like, dude, it's like between renovations and like life and everything like that. I'm just trying to put out episodes, so. It's when I can. It's what I can do.
Yeah.
I'm getting episodes, all right?
There you go. Hey, she got her last chance. She pops the door open, and there are 3 corpses and a green kneeling, ready to serve her as long as the compulsion in her mind is removed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I got a present for you. And hands her the
Domination bands.
Bands.
Yep.
Is this the first time we got like the official name for it?
I think so.
Yeah, I do too. I've never heard the term domination band.
Yeah.
You've never heard that before?
Well, I mean, in the context of this book, I've never
Oh,
heard
yeah.
the term
Oh, yeah,
In this
yeah,
book.
domination.
I was gonna say, let me go tell you how last weekend actually went. Because
I was gonna-
I can tell
Actually,
you all
I
about the
have
domination
not
bands.
personally heard anything about the word domination band, but
I'll tell you one thing. So there were two pictures on her profile where I was like, okay, swiping right, and they were conversation starters. One, she is a mechanic. So a couple pictures of her like literally in under the hood of like some big old diesel trucks wrenching on stuff, and I was like, that's hot. And then working on motorcycles, I was like, that's hot. And then she has this tattoo on her leg, which is like the roots of a tree that are wrapped around this heart, and then you can see some branches coming up. And so in the conversation, I was like, oh, that's super cool. So you got a shot of like the whole tattoo so I get to see it. And I'm thinking it's just on her thigh. It starts from like right above her knee and goes all the way up her side, like, and then wraps around up top and everything. And she keeps adding on to it with different life events and stuff. And let me tell you, that is a sexy tattoo. That was, yeah. Sorry, you said domination band, and my mind just went not anywhere near these books. Apologies.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then we switch over to Rand, and he's riding through the grasslands with Rodel Aldurado.
Eldorado.
Yeah. And they're looking towards the blight.
And Bashir. Isn't Bashir with
Yeah,
them?
Bashir's there too. Yep. They're going to see the edge of the blight. Yeah. Ardell wants daily reports. And Rand's thinking also about being homesick and how close he is actually to the Two Rivers right now, and how it's like, man, I'm right around the corner, but I can't go home because then they'll know and they can use it against me. And I have to be hard. I have to be, I have to stay cold and not give him anything.
Bye, Ian.
He'll be back.
So yeah, there's this level of coldness that Rand feels like he has to be to the point to where he's like, yeah, I'm swapping you guys. So I'm going to have Bashir run your country. You're going to run Bashir's country. We're going to make sure you guys like do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that those that you have with you do what they're supposed to do, because we don't want them going and just fighting for their own stuff. We need them fighting for the cause I have them fighting for.
Yeah.
And so
keep him on task.
Yeah. And Rand has an internal monologue with Luz at this point too about breaking the seals.
Yeah, and Luz is completely agreeing with men.
Yep. Got to clear the rubble. Because he asked Luz about like, how'd you do it? And he's like, we did it wrong. Like we had to use all Sidene to do it. And that's how he's able to attain it. It was a really weak seal. But it's all we could
because
do.
to close it, they had to touch him.
Right.
And by making that contact, he was able to taint it.
Right.
Which leads me to think, okay, if Rand really did cleanse the taint, did that weaken the final seal, break the final seal? Is Rand the final seal? Like now I'm back to thinking, is this battle actually an internal battle with Rand?
He's a Horcrux.
Something to that effect, could be. Who knows?
Horcrux.
But this getting rid of the taint, I don't think is as good a thing as we thought it was. It might have helped some things, possibly made other things much worse.
Agreed.
That's how the Ottomans policed their empire. I mean, they use the Janissaries a lot. I mean, we're not going to get to history of the Ottomans. This will be the Ottoman podcast, and we're going to talk all about the Ottomans because,
I think they're better than like traditional coffee tables.
Yeah, you know,
They're comfy. You can put your legs
they're
up.
comfy sometimes.
Yeah, they come
You,
with
you could get the really big ones that do have like a hard surface in the middle where you could still set stuff on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's money.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, the really big ottomans. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, but the ones that are just one giant cushion are nice when you have multiple kids because as they're wrestling, they can body slam each other on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you spare? I'd be down for an Ottoman podcast. We're gonna go back to the 1400s and start talking about, you know, let's start in 1432 when the Ottomans began to take power. The Turkish Wars. Yeah, my favorite. Actually, yeah, I hear Ottoman has storage inside. Oh, yeah, those are good ones.
Those
too.
are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you have the storage ones, they're nice. Yeah.
Again, great if you have kids and companies coming over. You like lift it up and start throwing stuff in there. Like I'll deal with this later.
Yeah, clean everything up real fast.
Or you put your super cozy, comfy blankets in there, so when you're ready to go all snugly on the couch, you have them ready to go.
Yeah, there you go. Right there.
Yeah, Ottomans are fantastic.
They are. After this, Rand enters a room to find men reading on the Ottoman. They discuss about laughter. They laugh together a little bit, I guess, or was it? They discuss laughter and catswain. Yeah. Oh, they discuss laughter. That's not. They don't laugh together. They're discussing laughter and catswain. And Rand's.
Are you okay, Alan?
And I'm just having a hard time. The internet's glitching. I'm yeah.
All right, you got there though. We're happy you made it.
I got there. Yeah. Rand's getting annoyed with the serving woman.
Foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
Wink. Wink, wink, wink. Yeah, I did think that for a moment, even before he expressed his annoyance. I was like, Sanderson keeps mentioning this serving woman. Like, what is she doing there? This conversation is getting touchy. Why is the serving woman hanging around? Suspect.
And then clink. But men with the quickness with the knife, though.
Yeah.
She didn't hesitate. She took the knife out so fast. As soon as the clink happened, the knife's already out of the hand.
enough to draw a little blood.
Yeah.
So Semirhage. So obviously the servant is Semirhage.
Right.
It is able to deflect, but at the very last second, it still gets cut.
Right.
It's like in 300 when he chucks the spear and it draws blood. Like, oh snap!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Semirhage's not happy about it at all. She's pissed. Then one of the other sisters, Elsa, comes in. Rand's like, "Thank God you can sit." Oh shit, Black Asha. Fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, how could she be? Like, he put a little bit of faith in her, and nope. Was it Eliza?
Nope. Yeah.
That's like when the cops show up and you're like, thank God. And then they put the cuffs on you and you're like, beans. You got it all wrong.
You got it. And this is how it's going to be. Okay. Anyways, yeah, and then we get into some crazy dialogue with Rand trying to get sighting, can't, and Semirhage's basically like, "Well, I'll break you," and he's like, "I'm too cold for that." I was like, "I'll bet," and makes Rand channel into men and starts to torture men coming from him. So.
Yeah, this was pretty effed up.
Yeah.
I paused here, and then for like I was going to call you Alan and curse you out because we'll spoil in a little bit at the end of the chapter. We can get there in a second, anyways. I thought he was truly going to be forced to kill her. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, gosh, if you're the writer and you really want this character Rand to snap and like lose control or whatever,
This is how you
That's
do
the way
it.
to do it.
yeah, having to do it with his own hands or through channeling or whatever, just gosh, insane. But again, I was in a situation where I was driving to work, finishing up this chapter, and I was like, if he effing kills her, 1, I'm not going to work today. 2, Alan's gonna get an earful. Like I asked you for warnings.
Yeah.
Like, do not listen at work or on the way to work, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I was nervous here.
Yeah. It gets pretty gruesome. I mean, Semirhage's like, I'll stop if you beg, or something like that. Or no, she doesn't promise anything. She doesn't say she'll stop. She's like, beg. And he starts to beg, and lets him stop channeling. So he's like, and then he's like, oh, but we're not done yet. He's like, but you said, he's like, I didn't promise anything. I just asked you to beg, and you begged. So now we're gonna go back to it. And he's like, oh no, we're not using the power this time. We're just gonna use your hands.
So fucked up.
So he goes in, starts
to
to strangle him in. Yeah, starts to choke her
And
out.
what's worse is he wants to close his eyes. Semirhage won't let him. He can still feel through the bond Men's emotions and feelings, and Min is trying to comfort him through this, like making
part
him
of this comes from
feel
the
and
fact
think that it's okay.
He was able to semi-block Semirhage out by going back into the box.
Yeah.
Like that happened before. Like when he was using the power, he went into the box. So she wasn't getting the pleasure out of torturing him. And he's like, I won't kill a woman. Like it just won't happen. And
no, go ahead.
Like even though she she forces him to use the weaves, he's like fighting that, but had to use them. And then she's like, you know what? We're gonna do this the old school way. Once I break you. So,
are we kink shaming Ian about the choking out? Is that?
No, I mean, this is a different show.
That's one request I don't comply with. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It just no.
Yeah, it's not your thing. So yeah.
Ooh, wait, interjection.
Yep.
So we've talked before about what might be giving Rand an advantage this time versus other turnings of the wheel. And one thing I or both of us kind of talked about was, all right, he's now bonded with multiple people, and three of which that are very committed to seeing him through the end here.
Right.
And well, probably all four, but at least three for sure. And he has this loving relationship with Min, and she recognizes what's happening to him, and she's very committed to help keeping him grounded and everything. So even in this situation where he ends up, I won't say it yet, but he ends up doing what he does, and Semirhage has this, that's not supposed to happen. Like, what is this moment? Like, maybe the difference is that bond with Min. And even though instead of totally losing himself in what's happening and freaking out and snapping in the wrong way, Min is trying to comfort him as he's doing it, and like recognizing it's not your fault, this isn't you, sort of thing.
Right.
And that connection might have been that just that tiny bit that instead of a really broken rage, he would have raged out anyways if he ended up killing her, but instead of a very dark rage, he's able to like reach more into the inner depths and hang on to something.
Yeah, well, yeah, something inside of him breaks and no longer feels anything, and then he senses a new power that's not Sidene, and Luz recognizes what it is right away. And it's like, do not touch that. It's him. And he's like,
what's this? What's this?
What's
There's
this?
power in the air.
First time.
What's this?
What's this?
It's flowing everywhere. I can't believe my eyes. What's this?
Nightmare for Christmas? Anybody?
Yes. This is the first time that Luz is completely lucid. He's like, wait, no, do not do this. This is worse than anything we could do. This is worse than killing her.
Yeah. Do not
I think
touch
this
that.
is the point where he finally like breaks that final seal. Like, if Rand is the seal, this is where he broke it.
And it surprised the crap out of Semirhage, because he's not supposed to be able to touch that.
She was only surprised for like 2 seconds, and then she didn't exist ever.
Correct.
Like, she never existed after this because she got finger blasted.
Finger blasting is the best.
I knew you'd have it ready. That's perfect. That's it for tonight's episode, guys. We were just building up for that moment.
No, but there was 2 finger blastings.
There was.
That's true.
There was a second one.
That is funny. He finger blasts her, and then Eliza, or is it Elsa? Elsa?
Yeah, so yeah.
Elsa.
Whatever it is.
Elza's like, oh no, and then she gets zapped too.
Yeah.
So
Finger
funny.
blasted.
We've had this great big buildup towards the domination bands being used, and we have talked about the dominations bands being used on Rand to help control him,
Mm-hmm.
and he just blew it up.
Yep.
Just like,
But
it's gone.
we do think maybe there's more than one in existence.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
there's
Possibly.
and he did use the true power, not the one power to do it.
Yeah. So it
Mm.
definitely gave him a new power source, put him on a next level. He realized that there was the one thing that could still be done to him, and they had done it, and now he is numb and he is in the void forever.
Yeah. And
you know,
Semirhage's
it
like,
sounds
why is he letting you touch this? Like,
Yeah.
why have you forsaken me?
Yeah, done.
Wasn't it Ishmael, however you say his name, when he
Yeah.
talked to Rand early on? Wasn't he one that was able to use the
He was.
Yeah.
right? And the
And
only
he
other
still
one
is
besides the Dark Lord or Dark One or whatever we're calling him.
He's still using it
He's still using
under
it.
his
Correct.
new name.
Yeah, his new name.
Yep.
So why do you think Rand's able to use it though?
Mm.
Well, I'm gonna go back to one of Ian's way back when he said that Rand really is the Dark One.
Hmm.
I think that could be it. There's gonna be a scene of him looking in the mirror and seeing him and the one he's supposed to battle and realizing the battle's within him.
I love this dialogue in our chat right now. Why Balefire though? Because finger blasting is the best. That's why.
Asked and answered. Welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, he's like, he's not gonna allow him to come back. Like, had he killed Semirhage might return.
Yeah.
Balefire means there's no return.
No returning.
Yeah, and completely ripped from the pattern. And for my impression of Balefire, it's like with that level of zappage, it's a complete removal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's no
And
doubt.
not even just from this turning, but from all of time, there is no and was no Semirhage at this point. That's what I have in my head.
Yeah.
Wrapping my mind around the effects of that, I don't really know, but
It's interesting how fast Rand went from "I will not hurt another woman" to "I will make you never exist."
there's a difference between killing somebody and unexisting them.
It's not-
They never really died. They just no longer were
they
there.
just never. They never did.
I
Never existed.
unborned you.
I unborned you. You never existed.
I could make a really bad joke here, but I don't want to get canceled, so
Yeah.
I'm not even going to put it in chat. I'll tell you guys later.
Balefire, tried and true. Get it now at 3 easy payments of $4.99.
Elsa sneaks out, but wait, there's more. Pew pew.
One special.
Neverborn. That's a fun. You can call them the Neverborn.
Mm.
Yeah, a whole new category.
Whole new category. There you go. Yeah. So yeah. Frees himself, Balefires crap out of people, and Rand reflects saying, you know, what little humanity I'd left, none at this point.
Nope,
Gone. He's like, you know, I was iron, that became steel. Now I'm Quindiar.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. There's that saying, like, you know, the most dangerous thing is a man with nothing left to lose. There's, man, I could give so many personal examples, but a lot of truth to that. There's been many times where, like, life has built up a certain rage in me, and the only thing that has kept it at bay are the people that depend on me. And if anybody was ever dumb enough to remove that, there's a world of hurt.
Yeah.
I know I'm just one person, but
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't really relate to this because thank God I've never experienced anything like this. But I see it, I hear it, and I get it.
Yep.
And people better watch out. You think Rand's been different before this? There's an opportunity here to totally rewrite this character.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
And
wanna
for
do
him to be
things
absolutely
like-
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
He
I wanna
could
see
be a
accomplish.
yeah. In fact, it would be a disservice if it's just a minor change, or it's still kind of Rand, and maybe they're trying to hold him back, and there's a little bit of him left. The transition here should be a wildly different, unpredictable, unrelatable character.
Yeah.
And that would make sense.
Yeah. Because this is extreme trauma. On a soul level. I mean, especially, the woman that you love. They're trying to make
Yeah.
It's
This is you done did fucked up.
Yeah.
This is Rand had things in his mind that he would not do to win this fight. But now I don't think there's anything or anyone that is going to stop him from doing what he thinks needs to happen to win this fight.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't get in his way.
Nope.
Yeah.
Even if you're trying to help, don't get in his way.
Yep. So that's how we end this chapter. So yeah, anything we missed? Anything else you guys want to talk about?
No.
Yeah, Rand's not been doing well since book 3. Book 6 didn't help when he got locked in a box. No, it didn't help. No.
Yeah.
But I think this was the breaking point where it finally got to, because he was already cold where nothing can break me, nothing can hurt me. And he's like, oh yeah, bet. And he's like, okay, yeah, you done did it.
I still reach back to my theories on Tam with Rand and teaching him about the void and the flame and the void. And, even Lan was one of the first ones to recognize after hearing that, okay, your dad knew a little something about something. Mm-hmm. And the more we read into this, and the emptiness of being locked in the box is something that Rand reached to get through this moment. But it relates back to that first and most important lesson that Tam taught him was the void and the flame.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Tam is Rand, just a different version. Time traveled to raise himself and give him what he needed to make it to this point.
Traveling Tam.
We've come full circle, guys.
All right. Anything else before we do favorite character?
Nope.
All right, favorite character. And why is it Talmanis?
So least favorite character, I'm gonna stick with it, and it's Perrin. And I know you're saying, how is Perrin worse than Semirhage in these chapters? Well, he is. And I'm sorry, Chris, but I'm not sorry. I do have faith that he's gonna pull his head out of his rear end, but he's got to learn the hard way. And then favorite character is Hopper. Yeah. I'm gonna steal the show. So
well, I actually feel you on the Perrin statement, so I'm not really upset about that. And let's see, your favorite of this chapter. I mean, Super Saiyan Rand is pretty dope.
Yo, yeah.
I mean,
I'm a little scared of it though.
And I'm excited for it. And that's why he's my favorite character, because I finally feel like we're on like the down slope of the books. Because I feel like we continuously kept doing this. We haven't really
building.
Yeah, we build. We haven't gotten to that point now where we're on the down slope. But now he's touched the true power. He's felt it. He loves it. He realizes it. And then he's shut himself off to the world. So I think we finally hit that pivotal point. So say favorite character is the new and improved Rand.
I like that pick, but he's a scary character right now. I don't know even if I hope for, I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I did like Tall Mayonnaise. Oh, we kicked him out.
Get out of here, Alan. Alan was so mad we didn't pick Tall Mayonnaise. He left. If he'd have hung on for 2 more seconds, he would have heard your statement.
Yeah, because
he'd have been all right.
Tall Mayonnaise legitimately is trying to keep Matt at bay and to be a good advisor. So, and that's why we hate Tall Mayonnaise.
Exactly. For all those points and more.
I love the internet tonight. It's been fun. So yeah, Tall Mayonnaise. That's who I was going to pick anyway, because it's my one opportunity to pick it. I was going to say Semirhage, but I figured everybody would just hate me for saying that. But because that's not true.
I mean,
we know deep down you're mourning her death.
Deep down, I pick Elsa.
Yeah. She was the real G. She killed 3 Eyes to Die.
She was
Anyways,
compelled. It's lame.
so I'm honest, but you'll be boring. You'll be boring. Yeah, you won't change. You'll just be boring.
It's sad. I thought about it too, and I was like, damn. Are we boring?
Yeah. No, I am.
Might be to some people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever go out anymore.
I know.
That's
that was my thought.
That's not necessarily more because being married. It's more because I have kids, and because I'm older and going out now is just weird.
8 years for 50, bro.
Like after COVID, that was the pivotal moment. Like before COVID, I used to like actually go out a lot with friends, like go to bars, and then like after COVID, I went out and like all my friends weren't going out anymore. And then there was like a new crop of younger people at the bars, and then there was like the really old guys that have always been at the bar for years. And I was like, only people I know in here are the really old guys that have been here for years. Wait, does that make me one of the old guys at the bar? I'm not coming back ever again. Like,
I don't want to be that dude.
I've crossed over the plane. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, fun time. So next week we'll be doing 2 chapters. Just 2. I think 2. Let me make sure that's right. Actually, no, we're not doing 2 chapters. Wrong podcast. See, this is what happens. We are going to be doing 4 chapters. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 chapters. I went from 2 to
That's
4.
almost, yeah, that escalated quickly.
It did escalate quickly. I'm sorry. But it did. So the 4 chapters we're doing, 23, 24, 25, and 26 are 23, A Warp in the Air.
Ooh.
24 is A New Commitment.
Those are Rand chapters.
25.
I think so.
25 is In Darkness. And 26 is A Crack in the Stone.
Ooh, is it a stone of tears or a crack in the stone of tears?
No, I think we're getting Egwene chapters, and I think we are going to find out that Tarvalon itself is a seal, and probably the last seal, and that's why they built there. And it's cracking. It's coming apart. Because we do need to get back to Egwene.
Somebody's become a big Egwene fan.
Right now, I still love Matt. Right now, she's my favorite character.
Yeah.
But by a large margin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think that I think for the rest of this book, I can pretty much safely say, Ian, read with caution for going to work. So
You jerk.
every chapter for the rest of
All right. Maybe I'll just listen on the way home. My neighbors are used to seeing me pull into the parking lot and sit there for a while crying, so it could be no different. I just don't want to do it on the way to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to know.
You know, you get that right song that hits just right. Or if it's
or did
you do that meme?
Yeah, where you play it again?
Where you played again because you didn't make you cry enough. Like he was like, wait, you didn't hit the right way. Start it over.
Right. It didn't hit hard enough. I've definitely done that.
Looking for a good cry right now. Get that song just right. Anyway, so that's what we're doing next week. 4 chapters. How you can be found is at thewillreads.com. So yeah, listening at work though. Oh, good luck, Fisher. But you can laugh. I guess you listen to book at work. Yeah, I mean I've done that before. So yeah. But I don't know if I ever broke down inside that work. But anyways, so yeah, how you found thewillreads.com. Go check it out for links to all sorts of things. Support us at Patreon or just go check out our merchandise. We got a whole merch store there. Join Discord. We did have intruders this week. So in case you are in Discord, you might have seen that. I kicked him out pretty fast. Or the bot. It was a bot. It was just sharing sex cams on every channel on our Discord. And I was like, ban.
Sorry about that, Alan. That's my side hustle.
It's your side hustle. Joining discords and just blasting it with
Inflation is still real for some of us. Okay,
okay.
trying to
I get it.
trying to survive it.
Hey, I respect the game, man. Trying to make that hustle, make that side money.
$20 is $20.
$20 is $20. Anyway, so yeah, go do all that cool stuff. Like, subscribe, do the algorithm stuff, make some comments. Tell me how you really feel. That's all I got for this week. So
Until next time.
Peace.
okay, bye. Thank you for watching The Wheel Reads.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Get your Coast Guard certified life-saving
Sure.
device ready and
Sure.
strapped on.
Oh, where are we going tonight?
What kind of strap on you talking about?
Sure.